This is Greg Trotwine with Marine Technology TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by James Ives, the CEO of XOcean, to discuss the company's newest USV, the XO-580. James, to start, I'm sure a lot of our viewers know the XOcean company, but if you can, just give us a by the numbers look at the company today.
Yeah, so hi, Greg. So I guess in terms of the business, we currently employ 58 people located across Ireland, across the UK, and also in Canada now. We have a fleet of 11 of our uncrewed vessels with 4 units in production. In terms of looking at our operations, we've delivered over 100 projects at this time for clients, everybody from companies such as BP and Shell through to offshore wind companies like Ørsted and SSE. We've operated in 14 different countries across Europe and North America. And really, at this stage, we have tens of thousands of operating hours under our belt.
As you know, the demand for unmanned vehicles continues to blossom as technologies mature, prices drop, and reliability has risen. Looking out across the world, where do you see the best opportunity for XOcean in the coming 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess to date, we've mainly delivered projects across 3 different sectors. They would be the oil and gas industry, the hydrographic surveys for government agencies, and then also offshore wind farms. I think what we're seeing is strong demand across all of these sectors, but possibly the fastest growing is the offshore wind industry. It's really interesting when you look at the development of an offshore wind farm that really it's got a requirement for data through its 30-year life. There's starting with a large volume of data required during the initial investigations to develop the project, then multiple surveys during the construction phase. Then there's routine surveys required throughout its 25 years of operation, and finally surveys right at the end of life during decommissioning. And then when you look at the offshore wind sector, it's projected to grow between 8 and 10 times over the next decade. And this is resulting for a need of even more data. So, you know, across all the sectors, probably offshore wind is the fastest growing.
James, as you know, with opportunities comes competition. I'm certainly not looking for you just to disparage the competition per se, but when you look at your vehicles, your platforms, what do you count as the key technological advantages?
Yeah, so probably we would look at it in 3 areas. So the first would really be around our ability to operate what we call over the horizon. So this is the ability to operate without a mothership or without line of sight to land. And to date, we've completed really multiple offshore missions, regularly transiting unaccompanied hundreds of kilometers from shore. We've completed operations deep in the North Sea, in the Norwegian Sea, the Celtic Sea, in the North Atlantic. So I think that's probably one of them. I think the second would really be around data quality. Ultimately, the deliverable we give to our customers is data. And so we've designed our system to be able to carry really the highest grade commercial survey systems. And this gives us we also have the ability to bring on surveyors online in real time during missions. So they're able to monitor the quality of data being collected in real time. And ultimately what that allows us to make sure is that we're collecting the best quality data. And probably the third element that I'd say is really just around experience. As I mentioned earlier, you know, we've completed tens of thousands of hours of unmanned remote operations. That's given us a tremendous return of experience, and it's really allowed us to continue to drive the development of the technology.
James, as I said from the outset, XOcean recently introduced the XO-580. Can you discuss the impetus to deliver this next generation vehicle and describe the vehicle in detail?
Yeah, sure. So our current USV is a 4.5 meter unit, which we call the XO-450. The new USV, as you mentioned, it's slightly larger. It's 5.8 meters. And what it really does is build on the learnings we have from the 4.5 meter units that we have in the fleet. We currently have 10 of the 4.5 meter units in our fleet. So what's the key differences? The new vessel, first of all, is built from aluminium rather than the GRP that we've built the first generation of vessels with. It also has more power and more range, and we achieve that through actually having twin generators on board. What that allows us to do, the key benefit there, is it allows us to carry larger survey payloads, and it also allows us to operate for even longer offshore extending the missions that we're running. As you mentioned, we've just completed the commissioning of the first of the 580s. That was built in Nova Scotia in Canada, and we've just completed the commissioning of it. We're really pleased with how the sea trials have gone with this first unit, and have therefore commenced the build of a further 2 units of the 5.8 meter. But actually, in addition, we're also building more of the smaller 4.5 meters as well. We've ordered 2 more of those as well. So it's not that we're moving just from one design to the other. We're actually adding it to our range of USVs that we have in the business.
Looking ahead, what do you see as the primary hurdles or challenges to hurdle in the quest to make unmanned more mainstream?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess in terms of challenges, an obvious one is clearly around the need for international regulations to support the industry. We very much welcome the work that's ongoing at an IMO level and also at a national level to support this. So it's all moving in the right direction. I think as the regulations get developed, that'll help the industry accelerate. I think more specifically, one of the things that we would see in terms of a challenge is, so we need to work out how our professional mariners that we employ to oversee the operations of our USVs can log this as sea time. This is to help them maintain their licenses, their professional marine licenses. So that's another thing where I think there's going to need to be some focus over time. I guess when you talk about the moving to the mainstream, the one thing we would look at though is that really USVs have got 3 really key benefits. The first obviously is safety, so no people required to go offshore. The second is obviously the environment. So certainly in our USVs, we have around 0.1% of the fuel of a conventional vessel. And finally, the economics. Crucially, we believe USVs can deliver the data at a lower cost. And I think what that means is that aligns very closely to the core objectives of our customers. And I think what that means is that we're seeing a really strong drive towards USVs becoming that mainstream, as you mentioned, and really delivering solutions for numerous ocean data collection activities. So I think mainstream is a really good word because I think that's really where it's trending.
Okay. James, I truly appreciate your time. We look forward to following up with you as the technology evolves.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Greg.